Ever feel like, I don't know, the future's kind of like breathing down your neck?
I'd say that's a fairly accurate description of, well, existence in 2024, right?
Right.
What's got you feeling that way specifically?
Well, today, it's all about product management, which everyone's saying is like the road to the future. But get this, even AIs want in on the action.
Okay, color me intrigued. You gonna tell me Siri's got a side hustle designing apps now?
Pretty much. We are diving into a podcast called PM 101 Explore Product Management. But here's the kicker. The hosts. They're AI personalities. Rick and Summer, actually.
Hold on, like actual artificial intelligence, teaching actual humans the ins and outs of product management.
And it's wild, right? Like, imagine getting career advice from the same tech that powers your smart toaster.
See, now you're just making me hungry. But okay, on a serious note, this is way more than just a gimmick. It actually speaks to a fundamental shift in how we learn. AI, in theory, can personalize education in a way humans just can't. Think about it. A program that adapts to your pace, your style, feeds you exactly what you need to know when you need to know it. That's powerful.
It's like having a personal, hyper-intelligent tutor available 24/7. But before we get too carried away with the robot overlords taking over education.
Which, let's be honest, is always a slight concern lurking in the back of our minds these days.
Exactly. They did bring in a human expert, Aaron Demnath, a.k.a. the Product Geek. So it's this interesting blend of cutting-edge AI and like good old-fashioned human experience.
Which is essential, let's be real. Especially in a field like product management. It's not just about data points and algorithms, right? You got to understand people, what they want, what they need. And that's where a seasoned pro like Aaron Dom really shines, I'd imagine.
It's like the AI might tell you the statistically perfect product to launch based on like a million data points. But Aaron Dom could tell you if people will actually want to buy it, you know? And he can probably give you some killer marketing tips while he's at it.
There you go. It's that human touch. And speaking of marketing, did you catch the podcast's tagline? It's something like, tell your friends, help us go viral.
Wait, really? That's kind of meta, right? They're literally using the principles of product marketing to promote their product management podcast.
Precisely. They're living their own curriculum, which I gotta say is pretty slick. But let's get back to your original point. This whole thing, it really does make you think about the future of education, right? If AI can teach something as complex as product management today...
What can it teach tomorrow?
Exactly. And that's the real question, isn't it? What field will they revolutionize next?
So left off talking about negotiation.
Right. Getting what we want.
Which, is a skill in itself.
Totally.
But, we're not always negotiating with other people. Sometimes we're negotiating with ourselves.
Oh, yeah, that's the hardest.
And that brings us to the next big topic.
Okay.
Time management and prioritization.
Time management, the bane of my existence.
It's like the elusive unicorn of productivity.
Always chasing it, never quite catching it.
And this document...
Well, maybe this document has the answers.
Well, it doesn't claim to have all the answers.
Okay.
But it does offer...
So got some tips.
Some really valuable insights.
Oh, I'm all ears.
And framework
Lay it on me.
for thinking about time management.
Okay.
In the context of product management.
Because it's different, right?
Because it's not just about...
just about, like,
managing your own...
checking things off your to-do list.
You're managing...
Well, it is, but it's also about...
the time of your team?
Managing the time of, like...
a whole team of...
the expectations of stakeholders.
And stakeholders...
and so...
who always want everything yesterday.
It's this constant balancing act.
It's a juggling act, for sure.
Of, like...
with, like, 5 flaming chainsaws.
Urgency versus importance.
And a rubber chicken.
Short-term goals versus long-term vision.
Don't forget the rubber chicken. And
now
so
I miss this.
the document really emphasizes the importance of having a system for prioritizing your work.
Okay, so like what kind of system?
And it talks about...
give me some examples.
A few different frameworks that can be helpful.
Right.
One of them is the Eisenhower matrix.
The Eisenhower matrix.
Which you may have heard of.
I've heard of Eisenhower, but not the matrix.
It's basically a way of categorizing your tasks based on urgency and importance.
Okay.
So you have...
So like a 4-quadrant thing.
4 quadrants. You have...
I'm visualizing.
Urgent and important.
Okay.
Not urgent, but important.
Right.
Urgent, but not important.
Sure.
And not urgent and not important.
The black hole.
And the idea is...
that's where all my socks go.
To focus on the tasks.
The important ones.
Both urgent and important first.
Of course.
And then to delegate or defer.
Delegate or defer.
I like
that.
the tasks that are
Yeah.
not urgent but important,
Okay.
and then to eliminate or minimize
I'll limit. I get that out of my life.
the tasks that are urgent but not important.
Okay.
And
So like those are the distractions.
the not urgent and not important tasks,
Yeah.
those can just go in the trash.
Just say no.
So that's just one framework.
Okay.
Another one that the document mentions is the Pareto principle,
The Pareto principle.
which is also known as the 80-20 rule.
The 80-20. Okay, I've heard of that.
And this principle states that
Okay.
roughly 80% of your results
80% of my results
come from 20% of your efforts.
come from 20% of my efforts.
Interesting.
So the idea here is to identify
So it's like finding the high-impact activities,
the 20%
the ones that really move the needle.
of your work. Okay.
That is generating the most impact.
Yeah.
And then just
Dude,
to focus on that
I like it.
and to delegate or eliminate
Delegate and eliminate my two favorite things.
the other 80%.
Okay. Now,
Uh,
easier said than done sometimes.
I know this sounds great in theory,
Yeah.
but in practice,
It's like, how do you actually identify that 20%?
it can be difficult to
Yeah.
actually identify that
Yeah.
20%.
And how do you know that you're not like
That's your leg up.
accidentally getting rid of something that's actually really important?
Of the other 80%.
Right. But
But-
it's a good goal to strive for, though.
I think the value of these frameworks
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that they force you to think critically
So be intentional.
about how you're spending your time
Right.
and to make sure that you're focusing on
Yeah.
the things that are actually going to move the needle.
The things that matter.
So-
okay, so we've got our
We
frameworks.
talked about frameworks.
Okay.
Let's talk about tools.
Tools! I love tools! Because
Shiny object syndrome over here.
let's be real,
Right.
even with the best frameworks in the world,
You need some help.
if you don't have the right tools,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard.
It's like trying
Build a house with a spoon.
to stay on top of your tasks
Or like
and to collaborate effectively with your team.
write a novel on a typewriter.
Okay, I
Yeah.
get it.
The document highlights
So what tools do we need?
a few different tools that
Sure.
can be helpful for product managers,
All right.
and one that I think is pretty much ubiquitous.
In the tech world is Jira.
Jira. Oh yeah, I've heard of Jira.
No.
It's like the industry standard, right?
Jira can be a bit of a beast.
It's a little intimidating.
It's a powerful tool,
yeah.
but it can be overwhelming,
It's a lot to learn.
especially if you're new to it.
Yeah.
But
Once you master it,
once you get the hang of it,
it's like you're unstoppable.
it can be an incredibly valuable tool
Right.
for managing projects,
Yeah.
tracking progress,
Okay.
and collaborating with your team.
So Jira is like the command center
Yeah.
for all things product management.
If you're not already familiar with Jira,
Okay.
I would definitely recommend
I'm adding it to my list.
checking it out.
Okay.
Now,
Oh,
in addition to Jira,
yeah.
the document also mentions Trello, which is another popular project management tool.
Okay, I've heard of Trello too.
But
Isn't it more like a to-do list app?
Trello's a little bit more visual,
Visual. Okay.
so it's like a digital whiteboard.
It's based on this
Okay.
concept called Kanban,
Kanban,
which is
All right,
basically
sit that down for me.
a system for visualizing your work
Right.
and moving tasks through
I think work.
different stages
Okay.
of a process.
I'm starting to get it.
So you might have a Trello board
Okay.
with columns for to do
you do.
in progress,
A new dude.
been done. And you would move tasks
So-
from one column to the next
Yeah.
as you work on them.
I like it. And so
So it's a way to like
Trello can be a really great tool
visualize your progress.
I feel like-
See where things are getting stuck.
managing smaller projects
Okay.
or for collaborating with a team
So it's like a lighter weight version of Jira.
on a more ad hoc basis.
Okay.
Now,
Got it.
the last tool that I want to mention
Okay.
is one that I think is often overlooked
Overlooked. Okay.
in the context of product management,
What is it?
and that is Balsamiq.
Balsamiq.
And Balsamiq is
I'm not familiar with that one.
a wireframing tool.
Oh, wireframing tool. Okay.
So we talked about wireframing earlier.
yeah, like the blueprints.
And Balsamiq is a tool that allows you to create those
Oh, right.
wireframes
So like digital napkin sketches.
digitally.
Yes.
And what's great about Balsamiq is that
Yeah.
it's designed to be
Easy to use.
incredibly easy to use.
Yeah. I like easy
It's like-
because I'm not a designer.
yeah, you don't need any design skills
Okay, that's good to know.
to use it.
So it's like drag and drop.
It's very intuitive.
Okay.
And so
Right.
if you're looking for a tool
Yeah.
that can help you
To get my ideas out of my head.
quickly sketch out your ideas
And onto paper or onto the screen, as it were.
for new products or a new feature,
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend
Oh.
checking out Balsamiq.
Balsamiq it is.
So we've talked about frameworks.
Framers.
We've talked about tools.
Tools.
But at the end of the day,
yeah,
none of this matters
it does.
if you don't have the right mindset.
Oh, here we go.
And so the document talks about the
Remember that?
importance of having a growth mindset.
A growth
And a
mindset?
product manager.
I've heard of that.
What is it again?
A growth mindset basically means
Okay.
that you believe
All the skills and
really
abilities
grow.
are not fixed.
Okay.
You believe that.
So it's like the opposite of
You can always learn.
being stuck in your ways.
You can always improve.
Okay.
And that
So like embracing
challenges and failures
Yeah.
are opportunities for growth.
Instead of being afraid to fail.
And I think this is so important for product managers.
Why is that?
Because this is a field
Okay.
that is constantly
Constantly changing.
and evolving.
Right.
You're going to be faced
It's like the wild west of tech.
with new challenges,
New challenges every day.
new obstacles, new technologies
So you got to be ready to adapt.
on a daily basis.
Yeah, be agile.
And if you don't have that growth mindset,
Okay.
it's going to be really easy
Yeah, you'll get burned out.
to get burned out,
Or left behind.
to get discouraged,
Right.
and to give up,
Okay. So a growth mindset essential for survival.
to embrace the challenges,
Embrace the chaos.
embrace the failures.
Yeah.
Because
yes.
they're all opportunities.
Opportunities to learn.
To learn to grow.
To become a better product manager.
And to become a better product manager. I love it.
All right.
Now, in addition to
So we've got the mindset.
having a growth mindset,
Right.
the document also talks about
Okay.
the importance of building relationships.
Or relationships.
And this is something that I think is often overlooked
In the tech world.
in the tech industry.
Yeah.
Because we tend to focus so much
On the technical skills.
on the technical skill.
Hard skills.
But
Right.
at the end of the day,
Yeah.
product management is all about people.
It's a people business.
It's about understanding people.
Understanding people.
It's about motivating people.
Motivating people.
And it's about working with people
Working with people.
to achieve a common goal.
It's like herding cats. But with better communication.
Building strong relationships with your team,
With your team.
with your stakeholders,
Yes.
with your users
You see,
is absolutely essential.
with success.
All right, so how do we do it?
And so
How do we build these relationships?
the document offers.
A few tips for building relationships.
Okay.
One is to be a good listener.
Okay. Be a good listener.
And that sounds so simple.
It does sound simple.
But it's not always easy.
It's amazing how many people
All right.
don't actually listen.
People just want to hear themselves talk.
Or they're just waiting for their turn to talk.
Waiting for their turn to talk.
Exactly. So how do we be better listeners?
Make an effort to really listen
Okay.
to what other people are saying.
Really listen. Oh, wait.
Ask clarifying questions.
Ask questions.
And show that you're paying attention.
Show that you care.
Another tip
Okay.
is to be a clear communicator.
Clear communicator.
And this is especially important
Why is that?
in the world of product management, where you're often dealing
With a lot of technical details.
with complex technical concepts.
Right.
So
and different stakeholders
make sure that
who all have different levels of understanding.
you're communicating in a way
Right.
that is
So you got to meet people where they are.
easy to understand
Yeah.
for everyone involved.
Make it accessible.
And then finally,
Okay.
be a team player.
Be a team player.
Product management is not a solo sport.
No, it's not.
It's a team sport.
I think it's a village.
And so
Wow.
be willing to collaborate. Be willing
Collaborate.
to help others.
Pop other.
And be willing to give credit where credit is due.
Share the credit.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're all in this together.
We're all in it
I
together.
mean, you're all working towards
trying to get that product out the door.
the same goal.
Exactly.
So we're basically talking about like building our own personal brand.
Yeah, it's like you are the product.
Right.
And just like any good product,
Okay.
you need a strong marketing strategy
So
to get yourself out there.
walk me through this.
Yeah.
How do I market myself? Like, what does that even mean?
Okay, so first you got to figure out what makes you.
Okay.
You,
Okay.
what are your unique skills and experiences?
Right.
What are your strengths?
Okay.
What are you passionate about?
Got it.
Once you have a good understanding of that,
Okay.
then you can start to craft your message.
Okay.
And your message is
Well,
basically,
it's like my elevator pitch.
yeah, exactly.
Huh.
It's like if you met someone at a networking event
Right.
and they said, tell me about yourself. What would you say?
I'd probably freeze up.
Well, that's what you got to practice
Okay.
because you want to be able to articulate your
Yeah.
value proposition.
So it's not just about what I've done.
Exactly.
It's about
It's not just about your skills.
Okay.
It's about what you can do
what I can do for them.
for their company with those skills.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right. So once you've got your message down,
Okay.
then you need to tailor it
To this is
to each specific job that you're applying for.
Oh, right.
Because just like
Gotcha.
you wouldn't use the same marketing campaign to
Right.
sell a luxury car and a budget-friendly sedan,
Totally different target market.
you need to tailor your resume and cover letter
Okay.
to the specific requirements.
So no more like generic resumes?
No more generic resumes. Okay, got it.
Take the time to actually read the job description,
All right.
highlight the skills and experience that are most relevant,
Okay.
and use the language that they use.
So it's like I'm speaking their language.
Exactly. You want to show them that you understand their needs
Yeah.
and that you're a good fit.
Makes sense. And what about those online application systems?
Oh, yeah, those can be a black hole.
It's like you submit them and then you never hear back.
I know it's frustrating.
Yeah.
But the document actually has some good tips for those too.
Oh, really? Like what?
Like make sure your resume
Okay.
is optimized for ATS,
ATS.
applicant tracking systems.
Okay.
Because a lot of those systems...
So it's like those are the robots that are reading my resume.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
They scan your resume
Okay.
for keywords.
Keywords. So you want to make sure
Okay.
that you're using the right keywords.
So I need to speak robot language.
Yes, but not literally.
Okay.
Just make sure you're using the same language that's in the job description.
Okay, that's helpful.
And the other thing you can do
Okay.
is to personalize your applications even further
Oh, okay. Even more. How do I do that?
by reaching out to people who work at the company.
Oh, okay. Networking.
Exactly.
So LinkedIn and all that.
LinkedIn is your friend. Connect with people.
Okay.
Message them.
Yeah.
Ask for informational interviews.
Okay, so it's not just about getting a job. It's about building relationships.
100%.
I like that.
Because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
people hire people.
right.
So the more connections you have, the better your chances of getting your foot in the door.
That makes sense.
And you know what?
Right.
Don't be afraid to show your personality.
Oh, yeah.
Because like we were saying earlier,
Personality is important.
it's not just about your skills.
Right.
It's about who you are as a person.
Okay.
So let your personality shine through
In my cover letter.
in your cover letter, in your resume,
Okay.
in your interviews.
Gotta be myself.
Be yourself,
Okay.
but like the
But-
best version of yourself.
Right, the professional version.
Exactly.
Well, this has been great. I feel like I've learned so much
Me too.
about product management and honestly, just about how to be a more effective person in general.
Yeah, for sure.
So much of what we talked about today
Absolutely.
goes beyond just building products.
It's about understanding people, solving problems,
Yes.
and communicating effectively.
Exactly. Those are skills that are valuable in any field.
100%.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive.
Time flies when you're having fun
It really does.
and learning.
Big thanks to our expert for joining us and sharing your insights.
Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners out there,
Keep diving deep.
keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you next time.